This meeting will come to order. Welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting, February 15th, 2023, 7 p.m. We are in hybrid. We'll just introduce ourselves on the way around the table. Jeannie, we can start with you.
Jeannie Reed.
Dave McWilliams.
Beth Thomas.
Chris Pratt.
Brian Walker. Dave Spina.
Okay, and absent tonight so far are John Wally, Joanne Horacek, and Cassandra Bach. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do we have anybody here for public comment? Okay, public comment. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. We have new business. We have project application, buildings and grounds, the roof and the cupola at the police department. Dave, why don't you come on up? Yeah, you can come up too.
Thanks.
Sure. You just state your name for the record. And
Oh, yeah. Did you guys sign in?
I did. It's a bad boy.
Can you sign up there? This is public knowledge now, thanks to you.
Sorry.
What's your name? David Sutton, Building and Grounds.
Art Lawler, clerk of the works. Okay, you have overview of your project.
Do I hear that?
Oh, okay. Well, the project that we were asked to look at by the Historical Commission was initially just an assessment that was approved about a year and a half ago, I think it was. So we got $5,000 budgeted for that. We spent $2,000 to get the assessment done with the local engineer, Steve Jablonski, who is on the list of recognized historical architects and engineers by the PVPC. And a guy that incidentally I've worked with before on the historical renovation of a church in Indian Orchard that was built in 1848. So he did a great job. So we got him to give us an assessment of the building. And part of the assessment included a price, an estimate for the work that he detailed. And that came up to an amount that was approved by the Board of Selectmen was $70,000. Right.
Correct.
Thank you. And that included about a $15,000 increase in costs anticipated because of the time frame from when he made that estimate until this project will be approved.
It says 55,000 here.
Yeah, it was
So
the
the
original one.
15,000. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And that includes about 50 pieces of slate being replaced on the roof. And some of the wood being replaced on the cupola. Some of the lower portions where it gets near the roof are.
You guys have the
pretty
pictures?
badly-
Yeah, I know they're not color like yours, but we have.
Too bad.
So you can see some degradation there on the wood.
I walked out there today, just kind of took a look.
Up on top of the roof?
Yeah, I brought the reindeer out during
Okay.
February and we went up on the roof. and-
You didn't ring the bell while you're up there, did you?
Yeah, another angel got its wings. But it looks awful, even from the ground, it just looks awful.
Yeah, it does. It's needed attention for a long time. It's been,
Some copper work needs to be
Sorely
done on the
neglected.
different decks, yeah.
yeah, there's.
It's a hard place
the
to get
lower-
to.
Lower deck needs the complete replacement, the copper.
Yeah,
Does.
but reading through this, they recommended just doing patchwork and then getting back to that in like 10 years or something.
Yeah, there's
Instead of just doing
structurally
it now.
doing what, I'm sorry.
Just totally fix it, just. I thought I read in here, it just said, do some minor repairs and then address it again in 10 years.
The roof part or the cupola,
The copper parts,
the copper parts.
yeah, like the gutters.
They're segmented, so they could, and it's all soldered together, so you remove sections as they deteriorate.
So there's no need at this point to just replace them.
Right, yeah, it's just the maintenance type right now.
Okay,
Yeah, most of that copper is not original to the station, I don't think. A lot of it was done, when 25 years ago or
They
something like
made a
that.
change.
Yeah.
Some of it was done, yeah.
Oh, I did get a letter from Lee Hamburg 2 years ago when we first brought this forward for the, the estimate.
The assessment.
And at that time, it wasn't on the historical register here in town or anywhere else, but definitely the cupola is historic. And he,
Pretty
he
cool.
wrote the whole background of that and the architect and everybody and things that, the way it was all put together and preserved to put on top of the fire department. So I think that was a pretty rich history of his account.
It's still, you look at the picture, it still housed the original bell.
Yeah,
So the cupola was like an implant from somewhere else?
I believe so.
Yeah, from the first school, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's even older.
did it come with the bell? Because the bell was
Right.
from the first school, right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it's definitely historic to the town. The slate roof. Slate is good.
It is.
You wouldn't be wanting to replace that with anything else besides slate, so that's
Such a
just needing a
grand building.
repair and not a whole do-over because it is expensive. To replace an entire slate roof. Especially now.
Yeah, and on a small job like this, it's hard to get, well qualified slate roofers. to come out.
Yeah.
But anytime
So there are a few between us from what I hear anyway.
they are.
Well, we have one in contact already, who put us pencil this.
Yeah, the roofer that gave us the estimate was Mahan Slate Roofing. He's one of the major ones around this neck of the woods.
Very good reputation.
So I've asked him to just hold a spot for us for in the fall. In case it gets approved here in that town meeting. Without making any commitment.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, anybody have any questions or discussion or?
Is this? Should we get this done in time? The warrant articles have to be written by. In a few
I don't
weeks.
think it takes too long to write it.
Yeah, it was a few weeks.
Check.
March 21st.
Look, I already wrote them out.
I did.
I like that.
I didn't realize.
You
you
read
wrote
them?
it.
In the I think on the what, on the other side of the page, not approved yet, but I already wrote this one out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I wrote it correctly, I don't know.
Wow.
I've never done a warrant article before.
Well, it'll be,
Good to have
it'll be
the
read
answers.
over, at the select board and then the
I told you
town
the
council. will
first
be-
one. Look at this. You get a
Well-
second opinion?
What's that?
As long as she gets the dollar value.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take a motion on the project then. People are ready.
Sorry, I'm
Sorry,
gonna interrupt.
go.
I just want to let you know, I don't know how much historical
Funds. there are.
funds we have. I know it was sort of cutting it close. So there, we may need to take this also from the general unreserved fund.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to put that in.
I
the
think that would be
motion.
the safest thing to do. So if somebody wants to make a motion for that, since we have I guess. The accounting office hasn't been able to get us our
So,
Accounting.
accounting.
accounting stuff.
Lots of words, we'll say that.
That works.
Yeah, we don't have our budget in front of us, so we can't really make a judgment on how much money we have in each account because the accounting has not been able to get us what we've been asking for. I think general unreserved, I know we have enough in there to cover this. So I think if somebody's to make a motion that it should come from there.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the project and utilize the funds from the unreserved fund to cover the cost of the project.
Yeah, I'll second. We'll go around, Jeannie, can start with the roll call vote.
I approve.
Dave can,
This is a roof I can support, so.
excellent.
Beth Thomas, I.
Chris Pratt, aye.
Brian Walker, right?
Dave Spina, aye.
Okay. Unanimous.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you helping us.
Thank you.
Great project.
It is.
Just so I'm clear on that, does that mean it's not gonna be coming from historical funds?
It's gonna be on general unreserved funds, so it'll be through community preservation, just
Right.
not from that portion of money, so there will be actually money left in historical funding. We just don't know what that money is right now because we haven't been able to get our
Right.
accounting.
Thank you.
So, just to be on the safe side.
I think you've got a plan for me.
Uh-oh. Got some ideas.
My clerk of the works.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, folks. We appreciate you.
Extend to you and through you to the members of your board. Thank you.
You like the monkey brain?
No. You can keep your brain.
Okay.
There's a storage fee for these?
Yeah, it's called a cupola on the police station. What's that?
We're leaving it because you guys are.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Hey, that's what the sign will show up.
Okay.
Okay, we review project warrant articles now. We'll look at those. Sabrina has them all drawn up. Yes. Let's look at the congregational church.
Oh, hold on one second.
Okay, fine.
David. David.
I think it's gonna be more than a second. We good? Okay. The first one is the Southwick Congregational Church steeple, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $60,790 in the Community Preservation Committee historical funds to Southwick Congregational Church for structural repairs, repainting wood surfaces and regilding the gold dome at 488 College Highway, assessor's map parcel. Registered at the Handy County Registry of Deeds, blah, blah, blah. It was pretty straightforward. Sounds just like a town meeting,
Mhm.
That's where I got my inspiration.
right? I mean, all these, are pretty much boilerplate, I would think, hopefully. But they will be reviewed by the select board and town council, I hope. Flooring replacement at Depot Street, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the transfer of sum of $45,000 to Community Preservation Housing Fund in order to replace tile flooring at 20 common hallways, the commercial vinyl plank at 12 Depot Street, assessor's map. None. Okay, restoration of bronze memorial plaques, to see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the sum of $16,500 for Community Preservation Historical Fund in order to restore 5 war memorial bronze plaques for those plaques that are located at the war memorial. Address, blah, blah, blah. Now what's there? Wally Spray Park, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the transfer sum of $269,000 from Community Preservation Open Space and Recreational Fund in order to install a spray park located at Wally Park. Assessor's map, the Morehouse repair, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the transfer the sum of $29,075 to the Community Preservation and Historical Fund. Replace a horizontal timber with posts under the north attic window. Repair, replace, trim clapboards as needed, and scrape sand. We put scrape there instead of scrap. Sand, prime, paint the exterior. Okay. Hazardous tree removal, Old Cemetery, to see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the sum of $105,000 Community Preservation Historical Fund in order to remove 44 trees that pose hazard to monuments, gravestones, visitors, and cemetery workers at the Old Cemetery. And finally, the one we had tonight, repair a slate roof and cupola at the police department. To see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the fund of sum of $70,000 to Community Preservation Historical Funds in order to repair the slate roof and cupola at the police station, 11 Depot Street.
So I can just replace the historical fund with the general unreserved fund.
So just doing the
Well-
math as we were going through it.
Yeah.
If this one today was in historical, that's $281,000 in just historical fund
Mhm.
for these warrant articles.
Well, there could be that much in there, we don't know.
Yeah.
So,
What was the last one we had? I mean, we had a bunch of that one ago.
Yeah. General survey.
the funds as of June 30th for, you said historic,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's looked like 198,000. But that was before the,
That's
That's
disbursement.
before we got the
Yeah,
disbursement, right?
yeah, so. Yeah, I don't. really
Okay, well,
know.
it's good to be safe.
Yeah,
And we can. Yeah, we'll just leave it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we got some mail.
so are you, do you guys approve these warrant articles to be sent off to?
Does anybody want to add any details to those? I know that we talked about making sure that things were detailed. So that as they go through warrant, the warrant goes through, the assessor's office or accounting office will say this was approved or was not approved because it was a detailed plan. I think to me, these seem detailed enough.
Are we allowed to contribute to the pros and cons?
Yes,
When they start
yes,
to
I'm gonna
list
read that next.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, we didn't write them up yet, right?
Right. Wondering if we were
Right,
allowed
I think that we are going to be able to do that.
Yes, I think that's helpful.
Mhm. Because we got some mail. The select board, it's for all departments. It says, please submit any articles for special and annual town meetings, which we're doing. Also, please submit any all warrant article explanations with the articles. Okay, so we can, within that, I believe, include some pros and cons. However, I don't know, I mean, they're all unanimously voted upon, so I don't know if we'd have any cons. But
Who's going to write up those?
well, we can discuss them now. If we want to, we don't, I mean, it's not imperative that we do that. It's just that if we do that, it has to be done before March 30th.
Our next meeting is the 15th.
Does anybody have anything that they'd like to include?
That they would like to, I'm sorry.
To include as a pro or a con or an explanation?
I have to think about it.
Okay, well, why don't we put that on to think about and discuss at our next meeting? So on the 15th, we will.
So what do you think, getting this arena before that, so we can actually vote on it at the meeting? That's the deadline.
You can send them to her, but she can't share them with anybody else until
The meeting.
the meeting.
Fine.
You can't have any discussion on them before the meeting.
I think it's imperative that we do it though, because,
Yeah.
for a couple of reasons, just having learned from last year is that you don't want someone else, not saying that they're not going to take our ideas, but you don't want someone else writing pros and cons for an application that we approved, because we obviously, I mean, we want it, we voted for it. But then you want to have your input, and you don't want to be surprised with the cons as you're sitting at the town meeting.
All right, that happens
Which
every town
happens.
meeting.
Or happened.
Yeah.
And then you don't have any way to rebut it. And so we have, and, I think they assign certain people to each project.
Yeah.
To write it, so you kind of want to make sure, there's not this many cons and this one pro.
Right,
Because that's what I think it has a tendency to sway our voting, our voters
right,
in the auditorium.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
spend a lot of time looking at those when I go to town meetings. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if you understand the source, which most people don't,
right. Right. Just a food for thought.
I'm concerned about the Congregational Church because there was some
Mhm.
scuttlebutt on
stuff.
Facebook. What are we doing paying for a church? But they failed to realize that that was our meeting house and that
the
it's been here
historical
200
integrity of the
years.
town,
And
Center too.
that matters.
right, yeah, it is our town center, right, it's our town green. Even though it is a church,
such as it is.
it is. Right,
So we do the war plaques and the cupola falls on somebody during a Memorial Day parade. It'll be fabulous.
I don't think so,
Right. Very good point.
our fingers crossed. Okay, so we'll put that on our next thing, but everybody, look through those warrant articles. Just for your memory's sake, and see if you can think of, why we voted on them. the way we did, you know, how they qualify. Our interpretation of what it means to the town to have those things passed. Okay. All righty then,
So sorry,
you don't have to be sorry.
more clarification, warrant articles, good to go? Do you have to approve those?
Select board approves them.
So do you have to approve them to bring them to select board? I just want to
We
make
can-
sure we're doing everything.
I'll make a motion to approve to bring them to select board.
Okay.
Second.
We don't usually.
I,
Aye. We're all ayes.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Aye.
Does that a E? To scrap, add a E to scrap?
I'll get it.
Scrap.
On
It's
your,
great. Yeah, we talked.
oh, right, yes,
Does that
yes,
E?
yep, with amendments.
Okay. Yearly calendar, for application or it doesn't even have to be for applications or CPC yearly calendar.
So you had mentioned this.
We don't really need to, I don't think, vote on things. I think we just need to iron things out and put it down on paper and we can see, you know, when things happen, but there can always be special town meetings. Well, I don't think we would even put special town meetings on there since they could happen at any point.
So I did do a little homework on that.
Okay,
Most towns, there was no deadline. I think it was Sturbridge actually had a deadline, but their town meeting is different than ours.
okay. So their deadline would be different.
Yeah, exactly. So I did send you an email. I want you to read it. And it had some verbiage about special town meetings and how they would have to justify why it was time sensitive. The applicant would have to do that.
Right.
So let's,
Yeah, we could make
I
it,
sent you a little verbiage to add to
I did
that.
not
Just an
read it.
idea.
I did not read it. I didn't get it. Well, I probably got it. I just haven't.
So I'd recommend just leaving the deadline at December 31st, like we had already discussed. Or would you say we had to open?
okay, so if we have a deadline, when does it open again for the next round?
Again,
I mean-
most towns, there's nothing in their plans.
Right, so I mean, that,
Beginning of fiscal year, so July 1st.
Well,
That's,
I mean, you could put a deadline for December 31st and have them reopen January 1st. With the understanding they may not make this
I
year.
think I think that's what I was gonna go with.
It's gotta be a complete year. You can't say
Right.
we're only accepting applications 8 months out there.
Right, I think what Dave is saying is good, because we've just accepted, what, 2 or 3
Mhm.
applications? And it's not really a problem.
Mhm.
Although you're gonna have some that are gonna be ongoing, where if it doesn't make it by the deadline, then it doesn't. You know, the applicants are gonna have to understand that. But I think the deadline would be this March 31st. Or because that's when we have to have all of our, yeah, that's the deadline.
Well, when are they
If we
doing?
can't, March 31st is the deadline for us to have warrant articles in. So I think if it's not possible for us to get a warrant article in by that time, then
No.
the deadline has been missed, but that can be part of next year's application process. Not like it's null and void, it just continues the next,
So that being
meeting.
said, with our meeting being the third week in March, should we say the deadline is March 10th?
no, it has to be before that because we have to have the warrant article written and agreed on before that.
So then it would be by February's meeting.
And that's as long as there's no questions or it's smooth as silk.
Okay, so if somebody comes to us with a clean application, such as we got tonight,
right?
and it's great.
Mhm.
If somebody comes to us with a messy application
There's a lot of questions.
with a lot of questions. So how do we word that?
well, can't we put a disclaimer on the application?
Yeah, well, I
You
think it wants
know?
to be something like,
December
in order to
31st
make a March
guaranteed.
31st hard deadline for submission of warrant articles, we strongly recommend that any
Yeah,
that's
application
a
be
good
made
way to
out
put it.
before December 31st.
Yeah.
No guarantees either way, but,
Right.
you know,
I like that.
So let's, you want to say it one more time so she can write it down?
Dave, make a motion.
Wrong.
yes,
recording, right? That's what I
Oh,
was
there you
thinking, like,
go.
it's
Dave can make a
recording.
motion.
I can make a motion to set our deadline to what I just said.
I'll second that. motion.
I don't like that.
He strongly recommends. if you want
Strongly,
your
a strong
application approved.
recommendation, a strong recommendation for submissions on or before December 31st in order to meet the timeline to meet the town meeting.
Mhm. So you made the motion, Chris made a second.
Mhm. We'll go around the table. Jeannie?
I,
Aye.
Beth, I,
Chris, aye.
Brian, I.
Dave Spina, aye.
So did Ray.
Motion passed. So is that the only thing you want to do for the yearly calendar? You don't want to put down like,
Well, before our last meeting in June will be the informational meeting, about CPA. We have to inform the public about what CPA is, what it does, who's eligible. So I think that would be perfect for the end of the year.
so that would be
Fiscal year.
June 21st.
Ooh, that's not good. I'll be away. Yeah, but somebody else can handle it, Jeannie. It's not a big deal. I have a PowerPoint presentation. So we can,
Mhm.
it's just informative, it's a formality.
So can we do that during a regular meeting? Does it have to be a
Yes.
special meeting?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Right.
this is the scheduled, it would be,
And at that point, there's not usually any applications that are coming through, so we're just doing it at a regular meeting, as we've normally done it.
So we would invite the public as opposed to any other meeting that we have.
It's gonna be,
Yeah,
hello.
right.
That's what, and we have had people,
Everybody in agreement?
yeah, we have had people come before.
do you bring like food? Like,
I
you
don't,
know, like
That's called
donuts or something?
no.
Said
we're
Shrek.
not going
Wait, the
to have a
last-
reception, no.
The last one we did was on,
Make it fun.
It was
online.
online.
I heard there was a lot of candy next door.
Actually, you went to that one, the important informational one. It was the last one we had. I remember that was,
The beginning of COVID.
There was a few years
the
here.
beginning of COVID.
So I need to put in an ad in the paper 2 weeks prior, right? An
Sure.
ad.
Yeah, we'll look it up, make sure that we're in compliance with the regulations.
Okay.
It's on the CPA website. Tells about that meeting.
Are we adding any of the former projects to the, PowerPoint?
We can add, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Some projects that have been done, that it's gone through, give examples. You can give examples of
Maybe
what other
have one of
towns have done.
these visually sitting somewhere for people to
By then, the
see.
town meeting will be over, so we'll know.
Yeah, we'll know what's
Right.
got done and some stuff that we've done in the
Yeah,
past. We
That's
don't
good
have
to give
go,
people
like,
ideas of what would
900.
be a good project.
Yeah,
I would almost recommend that the people who get their projects approved come here and set up like a little table, an informational thing about what the
Ooh,
projects are.
David, that sounds fun.
Let them
True.
tell the people what their projects are.
Sure.
You know,
or they could submit some photos of their project in
Yeah.
whatever you call
Yeah,
it,
I like
in
it.
progress. Yeah,
Okay. All right,
In Sabrina's email, Saturday morning, we have a 5-minute meeting.
Oh, yeah, what is that all about?
okay, so
That was-
we don't really,
'Cause I get
because they have no
yeah.
overview or purview on our budget, so they don't really, we don't have a budget through them.
But they like to think they
Yeah, so the last time I came,
Do that.
I asked them why I was here. And I said, we don't have a budget through you. And they said, oh, True. So but they're still putting us on there. I don't know why.
I can't make the meeting.
Me either.
Oh, it's the 25th. You can't make the 25th meeting?
Yeah, it's right before Concom.
Yeah,
Did they
Jeannie and I
25?
were back to back last year.
Oh, that's why they've always been that way.
So do we need anybody here at all? Because
I have to be here anyways.
Yeah, you want,
Not that I'm volunteering.
You wanna
but I have to be here
represent?
anyways.
and ask them for money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, we also have our on our old business, our new application form. Do we have any progress on that, or
That's a good question,
is it now?
because
Thank you.
either I worked on it or I didn't.
Well, I guess we'll all find out together.
We're all gonna find out together, 'cause I don't remember. A
Well,
lot of times I do things like, the next, because I like to do CPC stuff on Thursdays and Fridays.
mhm.
So a lot of stuff I'll do like right after our meeting on a Thursday, and then I just, I put it away in the file and I completely forget
Yeah.
about it. And warrant article drafts. Okay, so I did work on it.
Excellent.
So I did show you, well, this is a little funky. Hold on. Application restriction.
So what you can do is you can throw that out to us. We can just have a chance to look at it before our next meeting.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah, okay, you don't wanna look at it now?
No, we don't need to look at it now.
Okay.
People can look at it in their leisure. And have time to digest and think of questions and
Super.
practice with it. Is it live? Is it hot? Can we access the space bars and things like that and play around with our,
Like the actual,
Yeah,
go ahead.
application page?
right.
I don't know, I didn't,
Click on one. Go open it back up and click on one.
well, this is the instruction and review process,
Mm-hmm.
so. Let me go back, oh my goodness. And our meeting minutes. Annual report. I don't know if I have it. No. November? New application forms,
You do a lot of work. Look at all that work.
all right, eligibility determination form, so this is one of those, I think it's just. Yeah, so it's just a Word doc right
Okay.
now. Oh, but Jim updated the LPP forms on the Concom website.
Mhm.
And it is I think it's a PDF.
Mhm.
And you can type in your information and save as your document. And I told him like, that's what we are
Right.
looking for, so it
Yep.
is possible, he can do it.
So I knew you could do it.
Well, yes, yeah.
The question was how.
Right, but
Yeah.
He
so,
knows really how to do it, because I did one, right? And then
Yeah,
that's a.
this is the
Right.
cover sheet, so this is what I think what you guys were concerned of. Is there enough space to put like the project summary, will it expand?
Right.
Or not, so.
yeah,
I don't
If he
know,
knows how to do those little PDFs, typically the space is pretty large, it expands beyond what's there. The problem is if you then print a hard copy, you only see what fits. in the
right.
box.
So it'll just go beyond this and you won't be able to scroll
right.
on a hard copy, whereas you could scroll on this.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So.
Okay.
Oh. So you guys want to review? It was basically the 3 bid quote and that we were kind of like hashing out,
Mhm.
or the procurement law that we were hashing
Right,
out.
which I don't know how important that is anyway, because that's up for them to make sure they
Right.
follow, not for us to tell them.
And so I kind of just did verbiage that Beth did,
Mhm.
Beth said.
Yeah.
Now, I see that we have the certificate of non-collusion. Did we want to have that?
I think Agawam had it, but I don't know that. I mean, we've never had one before. I don't think it's a bad idea. It might be a question for town council.
Yeah.
Can you pull that up? What is the point of that?
It's so people don't do bad things or something.
You know,
Well, who's colluding with who, I guess?
the vendor and the person who's bringing forth the project, saying, okay, I got a project for you guys, and why don't we have my cousin Vinny do it?
Right.
And he'll charge this much money and I'll pocket the rest. Yes. Did I see you at Winooski's yesterday?
I saw you there and I was.
I saw somebody who I thought was you pulling out. I'm like, yes,
Wow, you two ignored each other. That's weird.
I know. I went to a rocket or car. Well, I was calling Michelle. I couldn't get reception site, so I was calling Michelle to see if what she wanted to do with Valentine's dinner.
Oh.
No. Yeah, lobster and steak.
I did my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Um,
Okay, so we're gonna look at that and so just send that back. I'll share that with us again.
the non-collusion,
The application itself.
the whole
Yes,
application, all the
so
pages.
people can just look that over before next meeting,
Mhm,
if they so choose. Can't make anybody do anything, you know,
right,
I feel
so,
bullied.
so we need to.
and send Dave the certificate of non-collusion, because he really
Okay.
would like to digest that.
Yeah,
Um,
cool. It looks like we might have a new application soon. Yay. Right?
Why are you saying that?
Because we're almost done with it. It's just. the
Oh,
final touch.
oh, oh, I thought you meant like.
Someone bringing one in. I thought so too.
I'm like, who else is gonna bring a new application in? That's just me. Okay, yeah, we're almost there.
Beginning to feel like Santa's lap around here.
Mm. Okay, do we have any plans or updates that we want to update our plan with?
Yeah,
Updates?
so I wrote out the conservation recreation portion of the plan. And we had a conservation review it and they liked it. So I guess we would just need Park and Rec to review it and see.
I sent it to our director and I asked her to review it and if we can just make sure anyone on our Park and Rec has any opinion about it, so I can let you know next meeting, because I sent it to them maybe a couple weeks ago. So next meeting, I'll just double check,
Mm,
but I haven't gotten any, like, no, we don't like it, or yeah, we do comments, so.
I know it was heavy on conservation.
Yeah, and I kind of prefaced it with that and just said, just, this is kind of an overview.
Mhm.
So if I get something back beforehand, I can let you know, but, that's kind of an update where we're at with it. Super. So should have something up by our next meeting, which we'll meet before this meeting. Ready?
Good.
Super.
What's your deadline on that?
So, I mean, it's supposed to be updated every year.
Okay.
And I mean, we didn't really set a hard date. It was sort of like, yeah, let's just do it. So, we need the historical, we need the housing to be done as well. And I think
And
housing was waiting for the master plan
Right,
to do their magic.
okay.
So that's that update.
Okay,
Okay.
I guess we're ready to review minutes. January 18th. I did read them over. I didn't really notice anything glaring.
First page. Daniel. It's spelled with.
EO.
Wait, what?
Danielle,
Oh, Mr. Denali.
and then denial.
Totally missed that.
Well, sometimes we read too fast.
I got, there's a bunch of small grammatically things that found.
Okay,
Second sentence in the Spray Park,
what page is Spring Park?
page 3.
Second sentence?
Second sentence,
Yep.
As well as others on this project, not projects.
Yes, singular.
Yep. And then a little further down. There's Mr. Levesque stated that Mr. Brown is not wrong as far as water usage, that these types of facilities can utilize. Utilize, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, the 63 gallons per minute,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is should be deleted. We should just be, we use approximately 63 gallons per minute if everything was on at the same time.
Correct. I like that idea.
Now here it's 6 8
Yeah, so they had said 63 gallons and then 68 gallons.
Oh, that's what they said.
So, I mean,
Oh, we leave what they say.
huh?
We leave what they say.
Yeah. I double check that.
Mhm.
We got an earful from Randy about that comment about it's not up to CPC to determine whether or not there's enough water.
Did you?
We had a nice conversation.
Uh-oh.
There's one.
However, it is true.
It is true.
I'll take a motion when anybody is ready.
Motion to approve January 18th CPC meeting minutes with corrections of grammar corrections.
I second it.
Okay, we'll go around the table. Jeannie,
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Chris, aye.
Brian Walker, aye.
Dave Spina, aye.
Okay, I'll send the paper around and get signed.
I have a question for you. It's on the spray park.
Yes.
Just remind me. The Park and Rec said they have to pay for the maintenance of it, right? And the operational expenses.
Ongoing costs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so they agreed to that, right? I assume they must have, because they're the one that brought the application to us. Okay, all right, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
That'll
Say
probably,
no more.
that'll come up somewhere.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's your second period?
Creating some line items.
Mhm.
Yeah. Creating line items for stuff that
Who
hasn't
invited this guy?
been tested or approved or not approved, but tested, like how much electricity.
Yeah.
Usage.
You're taking guesses.
Well, now I want to.
You should be able to get a.
Can we just get information from them?
Yeah, we had gotten some rough kind of
I
estimate.
mean, the water's coming from a well, so you're not playing their town water, right?
No, we are.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Rob said there was a well there.
They
no,
can't
he said
use.
there's a underground storage for water,
Yeah.
so there's not all that runoff. That maybe could be refiltered or something. They talked about that. but that was-
Yeah, I think they said they capture the groundwater runoff. They
Right.
use that for irrigation.
If we use the wells, there would have been an issue with having to put in a whole nother
Like treatment.
treatment and filtration system
Yeah.
kind of thing that would have.
Right,
But
but you'd have to do if you reuse it anyway.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
It is really.
Yeah, because I talked to a couple of people about reusing
Mhm.
the water and the cost of creating and building out that filtration system that would make it clean enough to throw on the lawn. Even though it would technically be groundwater, I think there's a big expense to
Yeah.
just doing that part that's not in this.
Correct,
It's not.
exactly.
I
So,
think Rob Levesque kind of mentioned, well, he didn't talk about the filtration, but he did say we couldn't use it.
Yeah, he said it was gonna be
There's a good
really
chance.
expensive to do it. I
There's a good chance we can't use it.
yeah, because someone would complain.
Oh, yeah.
Little Johnny just peed in the spray park. Now all of a sudden my kid's playing softball.
Right, exactly.
Johnny's people.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay. And we have any other questions, concerns, comments, things we want to discuss?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I.
I.
Aye.